But we begin with shots fired during a chase that ended at a hospital in Dearborn with the suspect killing himself.
The shooting incident was caught on dash cam. It started at a Melvindale woman's home with a showdown between her current boyfriend and her ex.
7 Action News reporter Seema Chowdhury explains how both police departments handled this delicate situation.
It is a heart-pounding video that Dearborn police released to give you a different perspective on what took place during last night's chase and shooting. Dearborn police strike this car to stop a suspect that's shooting at another driver. The incident started in Melvindale when an ex-boyfriend showed up at a woman's home. The suspect, Ruben Salinas, confronted the woman's current boyfriend and took out a gun.
Minor altercation between the girlfriend and the suspect to get the weapon away from him.
That's when the victim jumped into his pickup truck and drove off. Police say the suspect followed in his car, driving as he was shooting at the victim's truck. We're told Salinas was a CPL holder and had a handgun and an AR-15 with him.
It was discovered this morning that there was also a third gun tucked in the car.
The victim called 911 and dispatchers notified both Melvindale and Dearborn police. Police followed closely behind, striking the suspect's car 3 times as he continued to fire shots.
Our tactical training kicked in. We can never come up with every scenario, but our officers were trained well enough to think on their feet.
It ended at Beaumont Oakwood's campus when the suspect turned the gun on himself. The victim was not seriously injured. Both Melvindale and Dearborn police are continuing to investigate. But with shots fired in a high-speed chase, this proved to be dangerous for all involved.
In light of the fact that no one else was injured, I think that we had the best day we could have on that event.
And police tell us the suspect did not have any prior arrests or convictions. In Dearborn, Seema Chowdhury, 7 Action News.
All right, Seema, thank you. And we're going to go to more breaking news now out of Roseville.
A wild chase and crash, and now police are searching for a suspect there.
7 Action News reporter Brian Abel is live at that scene with what we know so far. Brian.
Yeah, we are here on Koontz, right near Frazo. Let me show you what I'm seeing right now. You see this green Dodge car here that smashed into a porch of a home after hitting this blue sedan you see here on the street. That is a suspect vehicle. Let me take you back to where this all started. Shots fired called near Gratiot and Frazo involving that green Dodge, according to reports. And when police got there, the car took off, crashing here at Koontz and Frazo. Now, at this scene, one suspect taken into custody. We see her here in the back of a squad car right now, but the other suspect on foot, on the run. There's K9 units here that are trying to track down the suspect. We checked with police just moments ago here on scene, and at this point, they do not have that second suspect in custody, so the search still continues. Back to you guys.
All right, Brian, we know you'll continue to follow that.
The big story tonight facing coach controversy.
Matt, Patricia firing back against disturbing allegations dating back decades. A report released last night revealed Patricia was charged with sexually assaulting a woman back in 1996 while on spring break during college. The case was ultimately dismissed, his accuser refusing to testify. Patricia adamantly denies the woman's claims. Tonight, the NFL is now reviewing the case with the Lions.
And some are asking this important question: is it fair that decades-old allegations are coming out now on a case that was dismissed? Our big story coverage begins with 7 Action News reporter Casey Holland. She's in Allen Park, where the coach addressed these claims today. Casey.
Well, Matt Patricia started by reading a prepared statement, and then he actually did take several questions from the media. It was clearly an emotional thing for him to have to talk about, and he said, quite frankly, he thinks it's unfair that he has to address these charges now.
I'm here to defend my honor and clear my name.
With GM Bob Quinn, President Rod Wood, and owner Martha Ford by his side, Lions coach Matt Patricia addressing a report published by the Detroit News late Wednesday night, detailing a 1996 incident for which Patricia was charged and indicted.
22 years ago, I was falsely accused of something very serious allegations. There were claims made about me that never happened.
The case was dismissed, and Patricia maintains his innocence.
Thankfully, truth is on my side.
Patricia told media the charges never came up in the interview process because they were never relevant.
It was never an issue. It was never came up as anything because it was dismissed and I was innocent. So it just has never been part of any process that I've been involved with before.
He also said he has addressed the report with the team.
And I told him, exactly what I said to you guys, and told him the truth. And I also took this opportunity again to one more time focus on the fact that, in this time we do need to be sensitive and responsible. And I use this as a learning moment for them so that, we can all try to be better.
Now, Patricia also praised the Lions front office and thanked them for their support and understanding. And he said now all he wants to do is focus on moving forward, putting this behind him, and doing what he's here to do, which is be the most effective head coach he possibly can be for these Detroit Lions. For now, reporting in Allen Park, Casey Hollins, 7 Action Sports.
Thank you, Casey. And Matt Patricia said something that we've heard before, but we really have yet to explore. Take a listen again.
I find it unfair and upsetting that someone would bring this claim up over 2 decades later for the sole purpose of hurting my family, my friends, and this organization, with the intention of trying to damage my character and credibility.
Patricia's words are echoed by other men who have been publicly accused of sexual assault and/or harassment, who maintain their innocence but feel their voice is not being heard. Now, we want to be clear, as a station and myself as a woman with my own experiences, women should never have to endure harassment nor assault. It is wrong. But the question we're asking tonight on this very delicate issue, is it fair that decades-old allegations are coming up now on a case that was dismissed? Tonight, 7 Action News reporter Anu Prakash spoke with a PR expert, and she joins us live in downtown Detroit. Anu.
Well, Glenda, Matt Friedman says this really depends on what your perspective is, but he was not surprised that this case was reported on.
I don't think that this goes away anytime soon in the environment that we're in today. There's a lot of public attention, a lot of consciousness and awareness about even allegations of sexual assault.
That's Matt Friedman, who's been working in public relations for 20 years, talking about news that Lions head coach Matt Patricia was indicted in a sexual assault case in the 90s, a case that was dismissed. With so much momentum behind the Me Too movement, Friedman says the world we live in has changed. He wasn't surprised to see the story had been reported.
But a reputation can be destroyed in today's environment in a matter of hours. So I think it's important to read stories like that carefully. And when I read it, the first thing I thought of is, reading a story like this now versus reading a story like this not very long ago is very different because of the environment that we're in.
Some of you voiced your thoughts on our Facebook page saying, let's move on. This is ancient history. Charges were dismissed. Move on. So was it fair game that the allegations were brought to light? Friedman says that depends on your perspective.
Generally speaking, public figures, famous people, and their pasts, particularly when information about their past is available to the public, like these charges are, is considered to be fair game. But I would hope that news organizations would look at this as carefully as consumers should in evaluating it in every respect.
He also believes the Lions should have known about the allegations, no matter how long it's been.
In this environment, for pro football in particular, after the Ray Rice situation, where the NFL promised its audiences it was going to start taking sexual assault and domestic violence seriously, it's imperative now for every NFL team, from a PR standpoint, to do the most extensive background check possible.
And Matt Friedman also says that he doesn't think this controversy is going to go away anytime soon. So it's his opinion, he says, that he believes that the coach and the organization should be prepared to continue to answer questions about it for some time. In downtown Detroit, Anu Prakash, 7 Action News.
Anu, thank you. The other thing is, this was new information as well, never reported before. Even if the charges were dismissed, as they were in this case, this was new information, and this is a public figure. This is the new head coach of the Detroit Lions. We invite you to join the conversation on our big story now at WXYZ.com and on our Facebook page.
Some of Metro Detroit seeing cloudy skies right now, but the rain seems to be holding off in some spots.
Now, the thing we can't stop talking about, though, is the temperature drop that's headed our way after a few warm days, which we really enjoyed.
And it's so amazing how quickly we get used to what we think is supposed to be right when it's nice, right? So 81 yesterday. Today, low 70s. Tomorrow, I'll show you in a second. Let me show you what's going on. The clouds are starting to thin in some spots, especially on the south side. So Glenda's right, pretty cloudy on the north side here. There were a couple of showers, just 2 today, light ones. I think there's probably the chances are going away as the clouds thin. But I want you to notice the big old purple section here of the northern part of lower Michigan. Freeze warning for a couple of nights. That's nasty stuff and an indication of what's coming this way. We're at 72 now, all right? But look at the numbers up here from Marquette's at 43. It's even cooler in Canada. Our wind's going to turn to the north, then to the northeast. All the 70s and 80s gone for quite a while. It's 44 overnight tonight. We're at 72 now. It will be 20 degrees colder than now for tomorrow's afternoon. We haven't even talked about the rain. There's a lot of that this weekend. We'll do that coming up.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. The Pentagon is blaming a deadly attack on U.S. forces in Niger last year on command mistakes, insufficient training, and ultimately a surprise attack. The 8-page report gives a summary of the investigation. 4 U.S. soldiers died in that attack. The commander of U.S. troops in the region spoke at a news conference accepting blame for the attack. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis ordered a broad review of training, operating procedures, and planning to be completed within 4 months.
And we now know when and where President Trump will meet with North Korea's leader for an historic summit. This news comes as 3 Americans imprisoned in North Korea made it back home to the U.S. The men touched down in Washington, and President Trump was there to welcome them. 2 were sentenced to hard labor last year, while the other was sentenced back in 2018. The release symbolic and a victory for President Trump ahead of his planned summit with dictator Kim Jong-un in Singapore, June 12th.
We will see if we can do something that people did not think was going to happen for many, many years.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo escorted the men to the U.S. He was in the North working out the details for the president's meeting with Kim.
As the number of possible victims out here grew to 6, more emotional family coming here to see this for themselves.
Oh, I know Nadine's here.
What tells you that?
My heart.
And building for the future, Henry Ford announces plans for a brand new clinic. We've got a sneak peek of the multi-million-dollar project.
And coming up next, scary news for anyone who uses the EpiPen. The reason you might be having trouble filling your next prescription. We'll look at it coming up next. We have an important health alert tonight. Finding an EpiPen may be tough over the next few months.
The devices deliver medicine to treat serious allergic reactions. In many cases, they are lifesavers. The FDA says there is a shortage because of manufacturing delays. It's expected to be a short-term issue, but doctors say if you carry one every day, check the expiration date and make sure you have an extra one on hand.
The maker of EpiPen is asking patients who have problems getting them to contact its Consumer Relations Department for help.
Henry Ford is opening a new clinic. It'll open up at the new village of Bloomfield along Telegraph Road north of Square Lake Road.
And right now, plans are underway for the mixed-use development, and it's just in a few weeks that construction will start. 7 Action News reporter Nia Harden tells us when the project is expected to be done.
What used to be an eyesore and an unfinished project here on Square Lake Road and Telegraph will now be a place where people can live, work, and play, something Henry Ford says they're glad to be a part of. If you ask people in Bloomfield Hills what they think about the 87 acres that's been a ghost town, they'll tell you
it's an eyesore. I've often wondered what it was going to be and why it's taken so long, because it has been there for, what, 3 years? Something like that.
To Suzanne Odell's surprise, it's been there for 8.
Well, you know, like some people say it's an eyesore, but it's good for health something. You know, when you look around other places, abandoned buildings, it's just something being idle, which can be used to do something constructive.
It won't be like that for long. Henry Ford Health System says they're building a new medical center in the village at Bloomfield.
One of our big gap areas is in the northern Oakland County region. And as we began looking at options, the chance to participate in a redevelopment opportunity was just very exciting for us.
The 2-story facility will offer primary care and women's health, as well as a walk-in clinic, pharmacy, and their vision center, Optimize. The price tag, $38 million. For Richard Greer, who's an avid bike rider, this is good news.
For the community, I think it's fascinating because guess what? Everybody may not be able to drive far away. Like me, I bike, and you know what? And Look at Chicago, look at New York. It's convenient, so people may not have to drive as far.
According to Redico, the developers of the 87-acre project, this will also include retail, office, dining, grocery, hotel, multifamily, and residential housing.
Construction for the clinic is expected to start before the end of the year and will be complete by fall of 2019. Naya Hardin, 7 Action News.
Thank you, Naya. Microsoft is now open for business in downtown Detroit. The company just celebrated the grand opening of its new headquarters at One Campus Martius, the former CompuWare building, just across the park from our downtown studio. Microsoft moved its technology center there, which includes 200 employees. The move was led by real estate firm Bedrock Detroit, founded by Dan Gilbert, to help energize the heart of the city.
For you alternative rock fans out there, 9 Inch Nails is coming to the Motor City, but the process of getting tickets, well, it'll be a little different than what you become accustomed to over the years. The band will play back-to-back shows at the Fox Theater, October 22nd and 23rd, but you won't be able to get your tickets online. In order to see the shows, you have to get your tickets in person. They go on sale a week from Saturday at Little Caesars Arena Auxiliary Box Office. The line forms at 8 a.m. Tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. Tickets are $75 and limited to 4 per person.
Going, Glenda?
Oh, I do like
You're
9
our
Inch
concert
Nails. I do.
reporter. So.
Yeah, that's a good 90s group, but
Yeah.
I might pass on that one. We'll see.
Come on. I was setting you up.
Got Bruno Mars coming.
Oh, there you
September.
go. All right, let me show you what's going on now. And we're buying Prince's house in the Turks and Caicos, Glenn and I. If you'd like to join in, we just need an extra $14.5 million. I'm trying to make a little light because you're not going to like me Friday or Saturday or Sunday. I hope next week we can turn to a stable relationship, 75 to almost 80, all right? That gets better. But look at this weekend. That's the high, not the low tomorrow at 52. So wind shifts. We were 81 yesterday, by the way. We're 72 now. Wind is from the west. It's going to be north and then northeast and east, and those are not warm directions this time of year. So right now, 72, humidity 49%, 29.87 on the pressure. It is more or less steady right now. Look at this, 8:42 sunset. The days are getting longer. Where's that warmth? It's going away. Now the radar's on because there were 2 little tiny showers that kind of sort of went from Livingston County to Detroit earlier in the afternoon, late morning actually. They're gone. I don't think there's any more of that. But the purple up there is a freeze warning that's in the Saginaw Valley and then farther north because we're sitting at 72. Look at the wind flow here. It's all from the northwest now and then from the north and then from the northeast. So we're at 72, 60 in Bad Axe, 48 in Traverse City, 43 in Marquette. These are 30s, and I think there'll be 30s for lows and a few spots in northern lower. That's why the freeze warning, of course, right? All right, let's jump ahead now. This is tomorrow morning. Might get a little sun early. All right, then here comes the cloud. The showers develop as the day goes along. This is running through. This is Friday night, some showers and thunderstorms. All right, Saturday morning we got brightest and best. This is 10 o'clock, not looking real good, right? I think the better chance to be dry the most, not all day, but the most is Saturday on the north side of town. And then on Sunday morning for moms and everybody else, not so great either. And that is, it looks like that drifts south as the day goes along. So Friday, it's later in the day. The morning's probably dry, but going to get wet late. Saturday, it's off again, on again, maybe some thunder there. Sunday, it's more morning than afternoon, but that does not look great. Then the improvements come, at least temperature-wise, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into